With health updates and more, this is Pro Wrestling Central. My name is John, and you're watching the Wrestling Report. WWE is set to host Saturday night's main event on November 1st, and according to the Wrestling Observer newsletter, a match between Seth Rollins and CM Punk for the World Heavyweight title is set to be the main event of the evening. When it comes to the potential teams for Survivor Series War Games, the Wrestling Observer newsletter claimed that the men's match could see CM Punk, Roman Reigns, Jacob Fatu, Jey Uso, and a mystery partner, either LA Knight or Jimmy Uso, take on Seth Rollins, Braun Breaker, Bronson Reed, Brock Lesnar, and Austin Theory. The women's match should see AJ Lee, Rhea Ripley, Charlotte Flair, Alexa Bliss, and Io Sky take on Becky Lynch, Asuka, Kairi Sane, Nia Jax, and Lash Legend. Mentioning the news regarding entrance themes in WWE, Ringside News wrote that entrance music has always been a key part of what makes a WWE superstar connect with the audience, but lately fans haven't been thrilled with the newer tracks. Now it looks like the wrestlers themselves are pushing back. According to WrestleVotes, multiple WWE superstars have recently asked to change their entrance themes, with some even reverting to their original music during this week's episode of SmackDown. Names like Sheamus and Drew McIntyre have reportedly been making these requests for a while, though it's unclear how many will actually get approved. The biggest return of the night came from Shinsuke Nakamura, who made his SmackDown comeback on October 10th and brought back his iconic theme, The Rising Sun. The crowd instantly reacted with huge cheers, proving just how much impact the right music can have. As for others hoping to do the same, nothing's guaranteed. Drew McIntyre is said to be less hopeful that WWE will approve a return to his old theme, though fans continue to rally for it. Sheamus is also in the mix of those requesting a music switch, but WWE is yet to make an official decision. A few superstars reverted back to their original entrance themes during this week's episode of SmackDown, the report stated, signaling a shift in how WWE is responding to internal and external feedback. With more superstars speaking up and fans reacting so strongly to themes like Nakamura's return, WWE may finally be rethinking its approach to entrance music. Sometimes nostalgia isn't just about the past, it's about what works. Admitting that his time as a professional wrestler is seemingly over following his neck injury in 2022, Big E told Stephanie McMahon on What's Your Story, "For all the people you've had on, I'm like, why me? My career is kind of behind me. I'm someone who is appreciative. I think I had a really good career, and I'm proud of it, but you've had John Cena, Livy Dunn, some of the biggest names." When it comes to former WWE name Bobby Horn being hospitalized, Leilani Kai said this on Facebook: "I've known Bobby for many years, all the way back to our WWF days in the mid-90s. We've worked a lot of shows together since then, and he's always been the same kind-hearted, funny, and dependable person wherever we were, locker rooms, conventions, or long drives on the road. He's going through a really tough time right now, battling a blood infection and pneumonia, and remains in the ICU. His wife Denise has been by his side every step of the way and has been sharing updates as he continues to fight and shows small signs of improvement. Please keep Bobby and Denise in your prayers tonight. He's a good man and a true friend to so many of us in wrestling." Going over a potential injury to NXT Women's Champion JACY JAYNE, a user on Reddit said, "At the NXT house show tonight, there was a tag match between Fatal Influence and Zaruka, and towards the end of the match, JACY grabbed at her quad and tagged out of the match quickly after. Ref threw the X up after the match, and when she tried to walk back under her own power, had to be assisted by WWE Medical to the back. Hoping for the best as she's killing it right now on this current run. Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful added, referees came out and held up the X for JACY JAYNE at an NXT live event, indicating an injury. Hopefully all is well. Footage has been circulating, with one user mentioning that she was limping. As Vince McMahon has found himself in another legal situation, this time due to a car accident, Ringside News noted that Vince McMahon is set to appear in court next Thursday, October 16th in Stamford, Connecticut, for a disposition hearing connected to his reckless driving case stemming from a serious car accident on July 24th in Westport. The former WWE chairman was charged with reckless driving and falling too closely, both tied to a collision that left two cars totaled. As previously noted, McMahon's attorney has been working to have the charges dismissed ahead of the hearing. The case centers around an early morning crash that shocked local drivers and could have had much worse consequences. Barbara Doran, the woman involved in the accident, shared her account on Facebook shortly after the crash. She described what she called a terrifying experience, saying she was lucky to have survived. Doran claimed McMahon was driving 80 to 90 miles per hour on the narrow Merritt Parkway when he struck her vehicle from behind as she was heading toward the Martha's Vineyard ferry. In her post, she wrote that she and her dog escaped serious harm but were shaken up and later underwent medical evaluation. Doran also stated that an unmarked state trooper had been following McMahon's Bentley for speeding and weaving through traffic when the accident occurred. The officer reportedly told her that McMahon swerved at the last moment, hitting her car's rear instead of making full impact, which could have been deadly. Doran's Facebook message painted a grim picture of the wreck, saying both cars were destroyed. She added that McMahon's airbags deployed and that the crash was so severe, his Bentley's front wheels were sheared off. Doran recalled that she was left trembling for 20 minutes after the crash, but was grateful to walk away relatively unharmed. She wrote that it was amazing that no other cars were hit and reflected on how differently the situation could have ended. As the court date approaches, McMahon's legal team continues efforts to resolve the case. The hearing next week will determine whether the charges will move forward or be dropped altogether. Vince McMahon's recent controversies have already kept his name in the headlines, but this situation could mark another major turn in his public life. With many calling for Triple H to be fired from his position as Chief Content Officer of WWE, the Wrestling Observer newsletter noted how Triple H has missed many recent TV tapings. Paul Levesque has missed some shows of late, and it's led to people saying his political priorities, not wrestling politics but US politics, have started to hurt the company. Even those who have and still do solidly back him have said that he wants to be Dana White, basically positioned to the crowd as the biggest star of the brand. He has missed some television tapings of late, some of which have been reported and others of which have not. Providing an update on SYKO STU'S condition after he was attacked by Raja Jackson, Doug Malo told TMZ Sports, "There's going to be an event for Stu with Valor Pro Wrestling around November 15th, and I plan to see him there. I'm really looking forward to it because it'll give me some closure." His close friend, who I talked to and who's organizing the event, said that Stu is done with any in-ring work. I also know about some of the things he's been dealing with from my last conversation with his wife and kids. I don't think getting back in the ring would ever work again. I think it would be kind of cool if we can maybe reverse the roles, like I get beat up in the ring and he comes out with his music, stands on the apron, and sends people in. You know what I mean? And I think that's as far as we could go from there. But honestly, I don't think it would be smart at this point. He took a lot of damage, and with what he was already dealing with, he wasn't exactly a spring chicken even before the incident. Staying on the topic of the Raja Jackson SYKO STU incident, Ringside News said Raja Jackson, the son of UFC legend Quentin Rampage Jackson, has officially entered his plea after being charged in connection with the violent assault on indie wrestler SYKO STU during a Knox Pro Wrestling event in August. According to TMZ, Jackson walked into the San Fernando courthouse dressed in all black and flanked by what appeared to be his lawyers. Reporters tried to get his thoughts on the case, but he kept quiet and refused to make any public comments defense as he entered the building. During the hearing, Jackson pled not guilty to 1 felony count of battery causing great bodily injury and 1 misdemeanor count of battery. If convicted, he faces up to 7 years in prison on the felony charge and an additional 6 months on the misdemeanor. The case stems from the August incident where Jackson attacked SYKO Stu, leaving him hospitalized with multiple injuries, including a lacerated lip and several missing teeth. Following an LAPD investigation, Jackson was arrested in September and later released on bail. He is expected back in court in November as the legal process continues. For now, Jackson has chosen to stay silent publicly while his defense team prepares for the next steps. Speaking about his plans to retire from professional wrestling, AJ Styles said this during the kickoff event for WWE Crown Jewel. "I'm getting old, folks. Listen, if I could find the fountain of youth and take a couple of sips, I'd wrestle for the rest of my life. But you know, I am getting older, and the fear of embarrassing myself is getting closer. There comes a time in a man's life when he has to take care of business, but when business is done, it's time to take care of his family. I need to spend time with my family. The whole idea of wrestling and having an amazing future in this business is to be able to retire one day, and in 2026, I will retire." And this was your pro wrestling news update. I hope you're all having a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see y'all later.